Just a short handful of years ago, a little company called Ford brought something they claimed to be a new beginning to the performance car lineup. Something moving towards the future, something to answer to any turbocharged four-cylinder already lurking in the streets, but still keeping performance in mind, as this is, after all, the Mustang, the staple of Ford's performance lineup. Now, Ford, as you may know, is a progressive company that is moving into less emissions and less fuel consumption while still keeping vehicles fun to drive. The Ecoboost technology is not a stranger to Ford necessarily. The technology is being used in multiple vehicles as it is, from the Fiestas to the Ford F-150s and all the way to the Ford GT with their 3.5-liter Ecoboost setup, pushing roughly 660 horsepower. The Spain-based 2.3-liter Ecoboost Mustang that we're talking about today was brought into the market in 2015 and is still going strong today. Now, this impressive machine puts down roughly 310 horsepower and roughly 330 torque, which is actually higher than that of a V8 Mustang from only a decade ago. And this car instantly became a hit with the car enthusiasts everywhere. Sure, now of course it doesn't have the same V8 rumble that some muscle cars are used to, but this does give the tuner culture a chance to work with a timeless chassis while adding some of their own style to it. Now, being that these cars have been out for 5+ years, it's given companies like us the opportunity to do some R&D and start developing parts to make these even faster than their up-to-date V8 counterparts. It's worth noting that the last time Ford had a 4-cylinder turbocharged power plant in a Mustang was in the mid-80s. In our opinion, this does go ahead and make the opportunity to be a part of something that had seemingly died years ago just that much more fun. With adding aftermarket parts, as you may know, comes some good and of course some bad. And that is absolutely what it is that we are here to talk about today. All right, you guys, now before we jump into today's video, I want to make sure that you all know about our summer style giveaway that's happening on our site for the month of August. Now, you can win a new look for your car, including coilovers, wheels, lighting, engine bay aesthetics, and more. Every dollar spent on our site is one entry to win. You also get double entries on parts bought from our sponsored brands that you see here. Not only that, but all MAPerformance merch proceeds go towards the Wounded Warrior Project. So make sure that you head on over to our site and get entered for the giveaway right after you finish this video. But let's jump in to what we're talking about today.
That was a hell of a rolling burnout. I am seriously impressed with that car.
All right, you guys, with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the pros of modifying your Ecoboost Mustang. Now, a lot of these pros are gonna be in comparison of the Ecoboost platform to the V8 platform, since typically if you're evaluating modifying one of these cars, you're not determining whether or not it is you wanna get a Mustang in general, you're just debating whether or not you wanna go with the Ecoboost Mustang or the V8 Mustang. Now, the first pro on our list is gonna be that this is about $10,000 cheaper than the V8 option. So you're gonna go ahead and save yourself a considerable amount of money that you could put into modifications to make it really fast or look cool or any of the other things that you do to your Mustang. And of course, with that being said, you're gonna be able to personalize it a little bit more, make it a little more rowdy, add some characteristics to it that make it unique, and of course, still not be into it for as much as the stock V8 Mustang would have been. So first pro, saving yourself $10K to put back into the car somewhere else. Next pro on the list is gonna be that in comparison to the V8 model, this has absolutely much better fuel economy. You're seeing roughly 7 to 8 mile per gallon better difference than you would if you had a V8 model. So again, saving yourself some money. Not that you buy performance cars to go ahead and save fuel necessarily, but it's good to know that it's not gonna necessarily break the wallet just getting from A to B. It's actually a few 100 pounds lighter than the V8 model. So with that being said, again, saving yourself from LBs, which is gonna help you go a little bit faster around the track, probably why these cars are so popular. Next pro is that this car actually comes with launch control. Don't need to say much more than that. It's a pretty cool pro to have. Next, and you'll see this as a pro on a lot of these pros and cons style videos that we do, this car actually has a ton of aftermarket parts available from various manufacturers, including ourselves. We make a full lineup of products for this platform, including a new rear main seal that we made out of billet. Looks pretty cool. Check that out. Link will be somewhere up here to check that. But anyways, anything related to these cars made widely available by a considerable number of people. Now, this next one is a pretty interesting pro, and I'll add a few caveats to it, but these can make over 600 horsepower on the stock block. Again, I'm not going to necessarily leave that as a statement in and of itself. We'll say that, again, we made over 600 horsepower on ours. I wouldn't necessarily recommend leaving it like that or driving it like that every single day. It's not going to be a very reliable 600 wheel, but you can make 600 horsepower with these cars without necessarily tearing apart the block. Well, I guess now it's time to do nothing other than go ahead and get into the roast of the Ecoboost Mustang. I will say there wasn't a whole lot for us to necessarily bring up in regards to this. Of course, unless you want to talk about the memes people make about Mustang owners just hitting crowds of people. We all know about that con, but nonetheless, we'll talk about the cons that we actually identified in regards to the Ecoboost platform. Now, the first con on the list is going to be that you are going to hear 4-cylinder noises coming out of a Mustang, which, of course, unless you were around for the mid-80s Fox body Mustang that did come with the 4-cylinder, this is going to be a foreign sound for you. If you are expecting your Mustang to sound like it's got a gnarly V8 under the hood, and instead you hear 4-cylinder noises, it is a little bit different hearing a 4-cylinder sound come out of a Mustang. So if you're not necessarily into that, then this probably would make it a deterrent from you wanting to get the car. But with that being said, we happen to be fans of 4-cylinder engines around here, especially turbocharged ones for that matter, so that's not going to necessarily be our biggest con, but one that we can understand other people have. The next con on the list is going to be that these cars do suffer from a little bit of carbon buildup. You see that in a lot of these turbocharged platforms that are coming out today, is the dreaded carbon buildup. So again, that's going to be a con for us because it's new maintenance that we just wouldn't want to have to do. So that's going to make it on the list of cons. Next one is going to be one I've kind of already hinted at today, and that's going to be in regards to the rear main seal leaking. Again, this is more of a when than an if, and that's again why we made a billet product to manufacture for the rear main seal of these cars. And again, highly recommend it. If you're interested, check out the one linked somewhere around here that we've got to our rear main seal, newly released product. Should help you out. All right, you guys, that's going to be where we end it for today. If you like this video, go ahead and let us know down in the comments below. Otherwise, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more stuff just like this. And if you haven't already, go ahead and make sure you head on over to MAPerformance.com and go ahead and get entered in the summer style giveaway that we have going on, where you could win some really cool exterior styling accessories for your car. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next video. Peace.